4 things about learning English I wish I had realized sooner. I have been teaching English to adults for 14 years, but I have also learned it. I still do, because mastering a foreign language is a lifelong process. And this is the first thing I wish I had realized far sooner, ideally when I just started learning it. Why is it so important? Because it helps us set realistic goals and correct priorities. What's more, it helps us ease the pressure we put on ourselves. So, instead of chasing speed, numbers of words that we learn every day, units in the textbook that we pass, we should focus on the process of learning, on the quality over quantity, which is always a winning strategy in the long run. Besides, our goals may change. Our understanding of the world may change over time. So does the language we use to describe them.
This is the way.
The second thing I wish I had known back when I was a student is a foreign language is not a foreign thing in your life. Many of us fall for this misconception. I surely did it back in the day, as well as many of my students did it before our lessons. We tend to perceive English as something like, here there's English, and over there's me and my real life. We learn English to be able to use it in our work, when traveling, to get wide information on various topics. And yet, we treat it as some kind of enemy that will drain our brain power. But the truth is, the sooner we let English in our reality and incorporate it in our daily activities, the faster we'll see the progress. But how exactly do we introduce English in our lives? Well, in many ways. By thinking in English while doing something, naming the object around us while waiting in a line, by having conversations in our head, as weird as it may sound, by watching videos that interest us, or reading articles or social media posts in English. I spoke more about this approach in one of my previous videos. You can see it here or in the description box down below. My personal example of aligning English with my hobbies and interests is horse riding. Ever since I've delved into horsemanship, I have been watching videos in English on the topic. And while they are naturally full of horse-related vocabulary, which is not really helpful in my daily life, there are a lot of constructions and idioms that I actively use in my speech. Another thing I wish I had realized being a student myself is learn vocabulary in collocations and context. Lists of words with loud titles, 100 most important words in English, are useless, in my opinion. I will explain why. Let's take the word light, just as it is, without any context. What part of speech is it? A noun, a verb, an adjective? It can be all three, which we will know only when we put it in the sentence and surround it with the context. The room was filled with a soft, warm light. We use the word light as a noun, referring to illumination, so why not learn it in a collocation, warm light? She prefers light reading before bed. We use the word light as an adjective, which means something easy, not too serious. And it can be memorized in a collocation, light reading. The city lights up beautifully at night. We use the word light as a verb, meaning to illuminate or to brighten. We can put it into collocation, to light something, to light candles, to light up beautifully. So, when learning a word in a collocation or within the context, we have a deeper understanding of how it is used naturally in the English language. When vocabulary is learned in context, it becomes more memorable, as our brain is wired to remember information better when it is connected to some situation. Also, collocations are an essential aspect of achieving fluency in English. They enable us to speak and write more freely and naturally. Instead of awkwardly piecing together sentences, we can effortlessly produce the language which sounds natural and native-like. And last but not least, the thing that I will never get tired of saying: don't ignore grammar. Grammar provides the structural framework. In other words, it is the skeleton of a language. Can you imagine a human being without bones? Well, same goes for the language. Understanding grammar helps us build sentences that convey our intended meaning correctly. To put it simpler, People understand exactly what and how we tell them. Without a solid grasp of grammar, sentences may be confusing and lead to misunderstanding, both in spoken and written communication. In professional settings, proper grammar is often expected and valued. Whether we write reports, emails, presentations, using correct grammar constructions demonstrates our professionalism and attention to detail. On top of that, grammar reflects cultural norms and conventions within a language. By studying English grammar, we gain insight into English-speaking cultures and societies. Like it or not, it's the knowledge of grammar that makes us confident when speaking English. When we know rules, we're less likely to hesitate or make errors during the conversation. Well, that's it for today's video. Thank you for being with me this time. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video and subscribe to get new ones on learning English.